Hi everyone, my name is Heather Leachman-Beck, HLB to keep it easy. This is me. And I work for a company called Hyphn in Portland, Oregon, and we create inspiring workplaces. And we do that through three different buckets of people. The second one is place. And then the third one is technology. And the work that I do is in the people side of things and help improve workplace cultures, really be able to strategize. And the most of the work that I do is in the realm of change management. And I felt at this given period of time, when there's a tremendous amount of change going on in the world, that my knowledge in change management might be helpful to share to help you navigate this period of time within your organization or within your life. So take from it what you wish, but just my moment to share with you. And there are two things. There's several things that I want to think about. Well, I want to talk to you about today. One of those things being two different cycles. The first one being the cycle of grief. And there was an article that came out from Harvard Business Review at the beginning of the coronavirus of that discomfort you're feeling as grief. If you haven't read it, I would highly suggest getting into it because that explains a lot more about what we're feeling. And I think there are additional layers of grief that we're experiencing in our current moment in time. And with grief, you probably have heard of the different phases in grief. And the first phase being denial, then you move through anger, depression, bargaining, and then acceptance. And as I was looking at the grief curve, it's like that looks oddly similar to something else that I am much more familiar with, and that's the change curve. Something that I talk more about much more frequently, thankfully. And the change curve starts with denial and resistance, and as people go through their exploration process, they start bargaining, feel a little confused, there might be some anger and blame, and then in the end we get to acceptance. So both grief and change start with denial and end with acceptance, and kind of figure out our way to get through them. Getting through change is quite a bit easier than getting through grief. And when it comes to change, obviously with the world that we're in, change is really becoming a continuous cycle. And the beauty of change is that the more you do it, the better you can get at it. There's something that you can, it's like a muscle that you can improve, and it's called change capacity. So having the tools and resources to be able to support people through change can really help that experience. And so I've been thinking about tools and resources that people need to be able to get through this period of time. And change is going to continue to happen. And hopefully we can find a way to make change easier. But what we don't want to do is have a gap in support and change to create a repeated cycle in grief, right? That's what we don't want. We want grief to be a curve that you move through and then you move on. So we don't want to create any additional grief. And a way that we can do that is through thinking about how we can improve safety within our organizations and our communities. And safety comes in three different types. So we have physical safety, and we have cognitive safety, and last but definitely not least is emotional safety. And this little triangle over here, you're probably seeing and thinking, that looks like something. Yeah, you're right. It is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs is physiological. So physical is, just having water, food, etc. And the step above that is safety. And as you can see, I've covered it, the three colors of the three different types of safety. And then we have belonging, esteem, and self-actualization at the top. What I want us to be concentrating on is the belonging and safety, and what part we have to play in that, in the workplace and in our communities, and how we can use the different lenses that we have to be able to really improve upon the safety experience and give people the tools and resources that they need to be able to be more successful. So thinking about tools and resources and what that looks like for individuals, I thought about this in terms of sort of a experience that let's pretend that these two people are real. This person over here, on the left, just got their job as a crossing guard, and it is their job, it is their imperative to get this group of people across the street safety. Thankfully, it's at night, so things feel a little more dangerous for them to get everyone across. But they've got a stop sign, they've got a reflective flag, they have a safety vest, they've got helmets. This team is well prepared. Also, what's great in this scenario is that a signal has just been installed to alert drivers to stop. A light shines, flashes, got a button, there's a timer, they can get across. So they're feeling pretty good about crossing the street. And then you have a different group of people over here that have a different set of tools and resources. And what they were given were some dark blue jumpsuits. Very pretty color, but not the best for reflecting light and night safety. And unfortunately, there are some road repairs going on. There happens to be a manhole cover missing, so they might fall into the street. And there's no lights to get them across. So their experience in getting across the street and doing their job is quite a bit different than the person and the team that has stop signs and safety vests and all of the lights. So as you probably know, there's something called well, maybe you don't know. Our limbic system is what's telling us if we're in fight or flight. So this person, I'm going to assume every moment, and all the people on their team, as they're trying to get across the street and do their job, they are feeling some additional stress. So on top of not having the tools and resources to be able to make their experience as simple as this team's over here, they also are dealing with some additional stress on top of that. So with change management, I really encourage everyone to have individual conversations and check in to see where people are at and what their needs are. And I think it's very clear in this point in time that people's access to resources, tools and resources, their level of safety coming in not at the same place. So that's really where accountability comes in. And I want to talk a little bit about accountability and how important that is to learn how to spell, first of all. Still working on that part, but also to acknowledge as we're going through supporting people through change, as we're in organizations building different types of structures, and what we can do with the tools that we have, the knowledge that we have to improve upon this. So there's something called the accountability ladder. And that's really where being accountable for having these conversations is very important. But then also, recognizing the differences between, say, this ladder that has all of the rungs and this ladder that has none of them. So at the top of the ladder is where an individual is going to feel powerful. And the bottom of the ladder is where they're going to feel powerless. And that really comes in, learning and understanding. Obviously, when we're going through change, is explaining and being fully transparent with what's going on so that people can have the information they need to be able to get from, point A to point B to point C. So down here, there can, be a little bit of blame and discomfort. There's like some waiting and hoping that's going on as they move up the ladder. Up here, they can, start to find solutions And you probably can't read that. And then at the very top, it's like owning the experience, right? It becomes their ownership in moving forward. Problem with these two ladders is that this individual over here might be unaware of what's going on, and might be completely lacking in the resources to be able to get to a position of owning the change or owning the experience. So I think it's very important for us that have privilege and access to resources to really acknowledge the difference between experiences and tools, and be able to change that. So in this point in time in the world and where we're at is we have a very powerful tool to be able to help us move forward, and that is empathy. It's our ability to really be able to, step into somebody else's shoes. Well, how is that for a good shoe drawing? Step into somebody else's shoes, see somebody else's experience, really hear them when they're saying they do not have the rungs on the ladder to be able to get to a point where they can feel powerful, and taking it upon of ourselves to be accountable if we do have the resources and the privilege to be able to install these ladder rungs, to be able to create a world where power is shared equally, and everybody's access to it is the same. So this all really comes together in deciding, given the amount of change that's going on in the world, we have choices we can make about how we move forward into the future. And my personal hope is that we use this wonderful tool of empathy and the understanding of what accountability is, and we create a new way forward that has ladders where everybody has rungs, and creates it so that everybody feels safe and that they can have choice. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to talking to you soon.